Okay, ich werde nun Deutsch sprechen, so hallo und willkommen zu Super Mario Brüder. I don't know the word for Doomsday. But that's okay, cause this is not happening. But anyway, this video is a bit bad and long overdue. So you've been waiting for a long time, maybe, I don't know. Somebody's been waiting for probably not that exciting things. Because as it turns out, this is kind of a redo. In the sense that this is being done post-commentary, which is something I don't even remember last time I did. So I certainly have no idea how to do it now. In fact, I didn't really want to do it. But my idea was to just go back to the levels and just replay them, because that's just something you can do, no problem. As it turns out though, I happened to be at a point in the game where I, for reasons that I will not disclose, because spoilers, I actually can't do that. I physically cannot in the game go back to these particular levels and just play them again. Nor am I going to play through the entire game up to that point either, just to not have to do it post. So instead we're doing this. My foot just fell asleep and it's really painful. Well, not painful, but just weird. But what I mean is that that's a good omen for how this video is gonna turn out. But no, I shouldn't say that. You know, when you... Feelings and opinions and impressions and things are all very sort of manipulable. By which I mean, you know, if you tell yourself that things aren't going to work, they're not going to work. But if you tell yourself that it's all good and that it will be nice and good and fun, it will work. It's just a little bit hard to do when moving your leg is like a physical... What do I say? It's like, you know, the sort of snowy screen on the TV when there's nothing being broadcast. It's that feeling in the leg. That's really weird. No, but jokes aside, that's actually completely true though. The fact that feelings are like completely manipulable. Because, okay, being perfectly honest, real talk here. Talk? That was a very clear L there. I'm not sure where that came from. Real talk here. Honestly, do you know how I became a confident person? Because I certainly wasn't always. Especially in elementary/middle school. Middle school was the transitional period, I guess, for that. But I was not a confident person at all. And you know how I overcame that? I just did! It's easier said than done, of course, but it's still a lot easier than you would think. And actually, funnily enough, I never redirect people to older videos of mine because I don't like them and they're terrible. But their terribleness actually sort of comes to prove my example in this case. So, go to, for example, when I played Donkey Kong Country, which is probably the playthrough that I'm the most ashamed of, because it's so bad. No, but that badness comes... In a sense, it does stem from this sort of lack of confidence in myself as a person. I'm just thinking that, you know, doing things like this, that's what people like. And if I do things that people like, then I will like it too, right? Because people will like me. But no, it doesn't really work like that. And you know what else happened to be the case? That was a convoluted sentence, sorry. You know what else happened? It just turned into a really, really, really bad whole series of videos that no one should really watch unless it's for this sort of experiment. It's not an experiment. I don't know what I'm talking about anymore. That's the trouble of studying languages. You mess them up. See, in video series like that, or in... I'm thinking Super Mario 64, for example. The normal run, not the CCC run. And, what else? I don't even remember what I played anymore, but it's just because... Actually, funnily enough, I think Super Mario Bros. 2010 is kind of an example of this too. Because that too was in this sort of transition period, where I was kind of going from being not very confident to trying to be a confident person, and being good and okay with myself and things. See, that was also, because obviously this is just a small part of that whole spectrum of being inconfident, is that the word? Shit. Is the whole idea that being angry is funny, which it's not necessarily inherently funny, it's just annoying, especially in cases with those old videos of mine where it's not just anger in itself, but it's the way it's presented, in the way that it's super loud and obnoxious. I think there were actually, and I am, again, ashamed to admit this, I think there was one time when I first recorded videos of Donkey Kong Country where I would do several takes of, like, angry noises to find the best ones. And it's really kind of funny that I thought, especially with this particular example, that I thought that this sort of anger and screaming and whoa, rage, that's funny. It's funny that I used to think that, when sort of this happy, positive personality and attitude has begun to shape me the way it has now. And that just stems from the realization that being happy and positive feels good and makes you happy and positive. And being angry and negative just makes you feel angry and negative. It makes perfect sense. And I don't understand why it took me this long in my life to realize that I should specifically and actively go for one over the other. Although I guess, in a sense, I did go over the sort of angry negativity part over the other because I thought that would make for good, funny gaming footage, yo! I also read somewhere once that if you smile, whether or not you really feel like it or not, it's actually going to impact your feelings and make you feel happier. And to be perfectly honest, I think that's entirely true. Not only do I think it, I've practiced it. I don't mean practice as in like sitting in the room 1 hour every day and rehearsing. I mean practice as in I've done it. It's worked. Living proof, yo. Why do I keep saying yo and waving my hands in the air in ways that you can't see, because this is not visual at all. It's visual. There's a game in the background. Whoa, I didn't even notice that. Okay, one of the really awkward elements of post-commentary come into play now, because I keep rambling about this for another good 2 more minutes. But I really need to draw attention to the game now, because what you're about to witness is amazing. Haha, we got you cornered, come on, Mario. What? Bowser? What? K. Rool? What is going on? I didn't realize Luigi could talk, actually. Thought that was unique to everyone but Mario and Luigi. You look surprised, come on, Luigi. Why is he Italian? Wow. The Doomsday Alliance! Well... You, Mario Brothers. I'll finally get my revenge for what you and your friends did to my digestive system. Not to have the meeting mentioning that Fawful is being back. And Fawful is having vengeance for the time that is finally being now. Fawful. Well, yes, we've had quite the reunion. Too bad it won't last for much longer. Doomsday Alliance, attack the Mario Brothers! Except only one brother, because the other ran away, it seems. Also, you're screwed. Wow, that's not fair. But I mean, it's logical. Who'd have thought that Bowser would do the logical thing? Haha, we did it! We beat the Mario Brothers! Wow, he really did. Reading text like this post-commentary is really awkward because you don't know how fast it scrolls! Finally, now we can retrieve the key. I am snapping! You Kremling dolls, we forgot to retrieve the location from them first! Before we kill them! Wow, I love that so much. Also, why is K. Rool using Kremling as an insult? Isn't Kremling the species that K. Rool is? Quiet, I'm thinking! Well, way to go everyone, the plan failed! Nobody wins! If we really manage to kill Mario, we have no leads. See? I told all of this, all the Kremlings. Now you've caused our mission to fail. I think I actually checked this on Mario Wiki once, and K. Rool is our Kremling himself. He's just like a kingly one. Oh, shut up, you! You are also responsible for these! Well, this is just great. What in places do we do now? What in the... Oh! The music is so perfect! No! They got away! No, Bowser, that warp pipe is cursed and will take you into the forest. If you follow them, you'll get trapped! Oh! So, what are you saying? That is the Mario Brothers are trapped in the forest? It seems so, but they'll escape. It's a one-way... They will escape, huh? It's a one-way pipe, they can't come back. However, they can take the airship to the other side. Okay, excellent. So then we'll have them cornered again. Wait, isn't this music theme called Cornered or something? I think maybe it is. But even the... Okay, whatever. Well, we will have to plan another ambush, but this time we won't attack at once. Understand? Next, we all locate at local... Wait, I didn't read that right, I think. Alright, let's get moving. Wow. Wow. Freaking brilliant. I cannot believe that even when Bowser seemingly had nothing but an advantage, there was no way he could lose this. He didn't lose the battle. They won against the Mario Brothers. Everything was looking up for him. And he still managed to fuck it up. And I think that's so amazing. I think that's brilliant. It's funny, both in the use of music and visuals. But it's also really well written, and it's entirely something that could happen. If Nintendo would ever go as far as to, like, seemingly kill any of their characters like that, then that is definitely something that Bowser could do. And honestly, that whole cutscene is probably the biggest reason why I'm pumped for having lost the commentary file for this video. Because it had my initial reaction to seeing it for the first time, and I think that's interesting. Because that's the best thing I've seen in this entire game so far. I'm not joking. But you know what? Despite all that, what's done is done and cannot unfortunately be undone. But such is the way of life. And when I learned to be content with that... You see the segue? Learning to be content with that is what allows me to still be happy about it. Because right now, by doing what I'm doing right now, I'm doing everything I can do to make up for it in the best way possible. And once everything that can be done is done, then there's nothing else to mope about. And if I, for whatever reason, couldn't do things like this, if I couldn't just make a new commentary file, or if I couldn't play the levels over again, which in fact I couldn't, as I said earlier in the video, even if I couldn't do all those things, I could still be content in myself in realizing that everything that could be done is done. As soon as that's the case, and there is nothing else to be done, then sitting on your ass and thinking about it and being worried or sad or angry or anything over something that you have no control over anymore is honestly a waste of time. It accomplishes nothing, it just makes you feel bad. And of course, feeling bad feels like shit. There's no denying that, and it's kind of self-explanatory, to be honest. And you know, this is kind of a... Okay, this is a super sudden transition, but people who harm themselves, like, they cut themselves, for example, most of them, for as far as I understand, do it in order to sort of escape this either sadness or anger or whatever. It's replacing one emotion with another, and the other emotion being pain. And thus, I feel like for people who do that, if the end goal here is to replace a bad emotion with another one, why replace it with another bad one? Why not do it with a happy one? If you feel really bad about something, do what you can. And when you can't do that, then live your life. Make the best of it. Learn to be content with yourself. And I think that that's important, because regardless of whatever might happen to you, regardless of how really bad things seem, and how absolutely terrible things not only seem, but really genuinely are, life will still continue. And there's no way to stop it. Life is a force to be reckoned with. And as it turns out, life really is no fun if you're not happy with it. But at the same time, I do also feel like happiness is sort of the end goal. It's what you want to achieve. In order to become happy, I think it's more important probably to learn to be content. I think some people have the bad habit of thinking that those two are interchangeable. But I don't really think that's true, because learning to be content is the part that's hard. It's when you finally manage to do that, that feeling happy just sort of becomes this inevitable result, I think. And for me personally, this whole goal of becoming content with oneself and becoming happy and whatnot, to me it started day by day. By which I mean, what I did to make sure that I actually felt good about myself was that I made sure that each and every day I would do something productive. And I think that what constitutes as productive varies a lot from person to person. So, for instance, I'm a fairly introverted person, and especially so during the beginning of this process. So, just being with a person and having a good time with them could constitute as something productive. And of course I was a student, so doing schoolwork that I thought would benefit me in the end would constitute as something productive. Because I wasn't very proactive in that, to be sure. I never did learn to be proactive in schoolwork, but I did learn to be content. So that's good. Jokes aside, I actually do have fairly good grades. Not good enough to get into the university I applied to, but still good grades. Oh, and another thing that I did a lot, which I realize won't apply to everyone because not everyone's gonna have as generous parents as I have, but I would get paid for doing things around the house. So for instance, we would have this chart in the kitchen which I could mark every time I did the dishes, and each mark gave me a small amount of money which could in the end accumulate to a large amount. Or I could fold the clothes of the family and give everyone their clothes that are now cleaned, so my parents wouldn't have to do that. It's things like that. And thus doing something that would give me money constituted as productive. And as a result, as it happens, not only am I a content, confident and happy person, I also have fairly good economy. But anyway, wow, I didn't expect to get into this sort of subject, and certainly not for this long, in a video like this. Hey, did you notice I'm playing a video game? Well, is it a video game? Because it's not, I mean, it's outputting video of some kind, but it's not on like a TV. It's a computer. I think there's technically a difference that computer games are on computers and video games are on TVs, or something. I don't know. That's... I could probably ramble about that for another 17 minutes as well, but I'm not going to. Because as it turns out, we're at the end of the video, and we're just in kind of the Forest of Illusion 2.0. So yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening, I guess I should say. You probably weren't paying that much attention since I wasn't really talking about the game. Sorry if this wasn't interesting at all, but I'm content with myself. Hey! Did it. Oof. Sorry. Bye-bye. Thank you for listening. Have a good day. Be content. Be happy.